Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me today. In today's session, we're going to be talking about the fastest way to grow your practice in 2024 so that you can experience more financial rewards this year, so that you can have more freedom, and that so you can create a bigger impact in your community. Not only create a bigger impact in your community, but create a bigger impact for your team, right? But before we get started, let me ask you a quick question. Have you ever wondered how are you going to fill the holes in your calendar each month? Or thought to yourself, how do you stop wasting your time on patients or potential patients, that is, who don't value your time, or even worse, spending time with folks who can't afford your services? If any of these sound familiar, I understand completely. It's normal. You're an eye surgeon, you're an expert, and you were trained in generating, effective outcomes for your patients, not fumbling around or experimenting with different strategies that you need to grow your practice, or wasting time on things that just don't work anymore, right? But don't worry, that's where we come in. This is the what we specialize in. So in this video, what I want to do is walk you through what we feel is the quickest way to grow your practice this year, the things that you need to focus on to help you attract high value patients consistently, month in and month out, right? And the way we think you need to go about doing that is through digital marketing, right? So the first thing that you need to understand is that patients' habits are changing, right? Today's patients are more digitally savvy than they've ever been. The minute they start thinking about any type of healthcare concern, the first thing they do is turn to the internet to research healthcare providers. They want to read reviews on potential people that they may go see, because they want to make an informed decision about whatever healthcare situation they may have. And this is very important as it relates to eye care. So as a result, you've got to have a strategy in place to meet them where they are so that you can capture their attention. And again, the best way we feel to do this is by having a robust digital marketing strategy in place that helps you capture their attention and showcase who you are so that you provide yourself, your clinic, the best possible opportunity to capture that patient, right? So let's talk about a couple of the benefits of digital marketing. The first is increased in visibility. I know a lot of you may be using offline marketing methods. Maybe you're doing some print advertising. Maybe you're advertising on the radio. But digital marketing helps you extend your clinic's reach beyond traditional avenues, right? With the right strategies, not only can you target your local market, but you can even begin to branch out into neighboring areas, right? This is going to help you ensure a steady flow of appointment requests that turn into consultations and patients and so forth. So increasing your visibility is hugely important and something that digital marketing really helps you get a leg up on the competition with. In terms of competition, digital marketing really can give you a competitive edge, right? Because in today's crowded healthcare landscape, standing out is crucial. Digital marketing allows you to showcase your expertise, your services, and more importantly, something that people don't think about, it helps you showcase your patient-centric approach in a way that can differentiate you from your competitors. Again, it's all about making you the obvious choice in your market, and digital marketing can help you do that. Right. And in terms of becoming the obvious choice, digital marketing can offer you precision in targeting specific demographics, right? Most of you have different patient avatars, and digital marketing can help you do things like specify the different age groups you want to target, the location that those avatars live in, or you can even fine tune it and target individuals with specific eye conditions. But suffice it to say, digital marketing enables you to tailor your message specific to whatever it is that you want to target, right? This helps you maximize the impact of your marketing efforts. And in addition to that, in terms of maximizing, one of the unique benefits of digital marketing that oftentimes we do not find in traditional marketing is that digital marketing strategies offer you the opportunity to have and review real-time analytics. This means you can measure the effectiveness of your campaigns, you can understand patient engagement, and this allows you to adapt your approach on the fly, right? This ensures that your marketing efforts or gives you the opportunity to ensure that your marketing efforts are continuously refined and that you get optimized results. Oftentimes with print media, radio advertising, it's kind of hard to say, what specifically is generating results, if any, but clearly you can do that with digital marketing, right? And so we find this to be a huge benefit of leveraging digital marketing for your practice. So let's talk about how you need to approach this, right? And today, what I want to do is approach this from a high level, kind of the 80-20, if you will. I want to talk about the things that you must focus on that generate results. I like to call this simplify to multiply. So I'm going to give you a conceptual framework of how you need to think about this without, digging deep into the weeds, and because I want to spare you some of the technical details. So let's approach this from a high level, right? So when it comes to building a digital marketing strategy to grow your practice, right, there's all kind of things out there, all kind of cool things that we could be doing, but today I want to separate wants and needs from the absolute critical must-haves, right? I want to talk about the things that should form the bedrock of your digital marketing strategy, the non-negotiable elements that you need to focus on to help you achieve your overall objectives, right? And the first must-have is you've got to have a process in place to attract more prospects into your funnel, right? This is generating leads, right? And all things being considered, we find that a lot of practices spend money on these types of things, and they're able to generate leads, right? But you've got to make sure that you have a constant flow of the types of leads that you want, and you need to be able to do this consistently month after month. Again, filling the top of the funnel. We're going to go into detail in how to do that in a little bit. We're going to talk about that a little more, but that's the first must-have. You got to be able to consistently attract prospects into your funnel, right? Second thing, doesn't do you any good if you're great at lead generation, but those leads aren't turning into people sitting in your chair. So you've got to have a process in place that converts those prospects into patients, right? You got to have your front desk needs to know the right things to say to people. Your scheduling coordinator needs to have, phrases, sayings, things that work, but you also need to have some things in place that stays in front of prospective patients, because everybody's not ready to convert immediately. Just because they've taken an online test, just because they've requested some information, doesn't mean they're ready to move forward. And you need a process in place to stay in front of them, and then you need a process in place of what to do, what to say once you actually are in front of them. So you got to be able to attract patients, you got to be able to convert patients, and then finally, you've got to have a process that helps you optimize your results, right? Being able to leverage the success that you're having and turn it into more success, generate more ROI for yourself. And we're going to kind of do a little deep dive into those things, but those are the three must-haves. You got to be able to attract leads. You got to be able to convert those leads into patients. And then you got to have a process that helps you continually fine-tune and optimize your results. So the way I like to approach this from a process, there's a oldie but goodie, a book called Good to Great by Jim Collins. In the book, he covers a strategy called the flywheel effect. And let me quickly describe what he says. He says, picture a huge, heavy flywheel, big, huge, massive metal disc. He describes it. It's mounted horizontally. It's on an axle, about 30 feet in diameter. It's about 2 feet thick and weighing about 5,000 pounds. You can only imagine how much energy it would take to get this thing moving, right? But in order to get it moving, right, you got to start pushing on the flywheel, right? And it seems like the flywheel's not moving, right? But with every push, right, push, after 2 or 3 hours of persistent effort, again, this is how he describes the process, you finally get the flywheel to make one complete turn on its axis, right? You keep pushing, the flywheel begins to move a little faster. And the more you push, the more the flywheel begins to move. It makes 1 rotation, 2 rotations, 3 rotations. Then at some point, the momentum of the flywheel kicks in and it hurls the flywheel forward, turn after turn. And all of a sudden, the heavy weight that was working against you in order to get the flywheel moving, it's now working on your behalf. So now you're pushing no harder than the first time, but the flywheel is moving faster and faster and faster. And each turn of the flywheel builds upon the work you've done earlier. So as you can see, it seems like it's tough sledding to begin with, but the more and more you push the flywheel, the faster and faster it goes. But you're really not expending any more effort than when you did the first time. So let's kind of go back to what we talked about, the three must-haves that you need to have in order to get your practice moving. And we call this installing or having a practice growth flywheel in your practice, right? So if you see kind of in the middle of this picture, you've got your attract, convert, and optimize, and the same process happens, right? You begin to push on this flywheel in the middle, and all of a sudden, you begin to attract strangers. Strangers become prospects. Prospects turn into patients. Patients then become promoters. They leave you reviews. They refer their friends. And over and over and over, this flywheel begins to work in your practice, right? So that it's working on your behalf, right? And that's what you need to do. That's what you need to have installed in your practice to grow your practice quickly in 2024. So let's do a deep dive into the attract, convert, and optimize, the three main pieces of this flywheel that you need to have installed, right? So we talked about attract, right? That's filling your funnel. And there's really three methods that you really want to focus on in order to fill the top of your funnel consistently, right? Step one is about harnessing the power of organic leads. And by organic leads, we're talking about doing things like SEO strategies to make sure you appear in the Google listings, in the organic listings on Google. You want to make sure you appear in Google Maps, because oftentimes that's the first thing that's going to pop up and things that people are going to see. So you want to make sure that you're doing the right and most effective SEO strategies to make sure you appear in the Google organic listing, and to make sure you appear in the maps, right? But you can't stop there, right? If all you do is SEO, eventually you're going to run out of lead opportunities. And to be honest, SEO often takes some time for you to start moving the needle with Google in terms of appearing in the maps and appearing in the Google listings, right? So you also want to be focusing on paid search, right? Google ads, PPC, whatever you know it by, right? Pay-per-click advertising on Google. And you can also do Facebook advertising to follow up with leads and some other paid social strategy. But paid advertising gives you a knob that you can turn to really have unlimited lead flow. You can turn paid advertising strategies on and off at will, right? And you can almost generate leads immediately. There's still a process that you need to do, and you're always fine-tuning your ad strategies, but you want to make sure that you are covering paid advertising strategy, because that's another piece of real estate on the Google search result page, and you want to control all those things, right? The third thing that we tell people to focus on, and oftentimes this is overlooked, is you have a current database. Most of you have a current database of existing patients, right? You've got existing patients that may have been referred to you, or just patients you treated in the past who may be a good candidate for some of your other high value services. So you want to consistently market to them. And we find oftentimes most people just aren't. They have patients and a name, but they aren't talking to their patients on a consistent basis and telling them about the things that they could be telling about to generate or extract more value or more revenue out of those patients, right? So all things being equal, we find that most most practices, they just don't have a great strategy in place to hit all of these three variables. They don't really follow up with prospects on a consistent basis to get their foot in the door. And so we want to be able to drive all of these opportunities to you by leveraging these three steps, right? The next piece of the puzzle is, we said convert. We call it booking more patients, right? You want to focus on, again, it doesn't do you any good if you've got tons of lead flow coming in, tons of prospects knocking on your door, but they aren't turning into patients who are actually sitting in your chair. So the first step, we've got in the first box here, we call it CRO, conversion rate optimization. You want to make sure that you've got a website that's built to convert visitors into leads. I know most of you probably already have a website. Most of the websites that you have probably look good. They're professional, but do they convert visitors into prospects and into patients? And ask yourself, do you even know what your conversion rate is? Do you know how many leads, how many people are visiting your website each month? Do you know the percentage of those visitors that are actually turning into leads from your website? And then you know what a good conversion rate is, right? So it's all about guiding those visitors on the patient journey so that you can continue the conversation with them. Because again, everyone that visits your website isn't ready to convert that moment, right? But you want to make sure that you've got a process in place that captures their information so that you can continue to have a conversation with them. You want to make sure your website has all the different conversion elements in place, the different calls to action, book an appointment now, schedule now, request more information, those types of things. And we find, right, there's very, very specific things that we can do on our client websites that improve conversion rate by oftentimes 2 to 10x what they're experiencing now, right? The next thing is you want to make sure you have a stellar online reputation. We spoke about this earlier. No matter even if someone is referred to you, they're going to go online. They want to read reviews about you. They want to hear about other people's experience, right? And this is going to help you. Your online review is going to help dictate how well your website converts. So you need to put a heavy emphasis on looking at how you're showing up on Google. In terms of reviews and all of the different medical directories and all the places where prospective patients look before they convert. So you've got to have a process in place to make sure that you're generating new reviews consistently from patients that you've seen before, because it's going to help you convert additional patients in the future, right? This makes people eager to work with you, which means you won't have to constantly chase people down. They'll be ready to convert. When you have a stellar reputation, it helps you develop authority in your market. And again, this makes patients ready and willing to do business with you, right? And then the glue to kind of help you put some of this together and help you maximize conversions is having automations in place, right? There's different type of technologies in place that can help you with your online reviews rather than relying on just your front desk to follow up. You can have automations in place that reach out to prospective patients and not only help you with reviews, but they can get a text or a message if they happen to call your practice or they happen to request some information. You can have automations in place that automatically follows up with them over and over and over again. And there's studies out there that show, if you don't follow up with a new lead within the first 5 minutes, it's almost as if you didn't have that lead because the lead goes cold, right? So we call this speed to lead. And again, you want to have automations in place that automatically send them a text, automatically send them a follow-up email, but then does it again and again, because following up with them one time often isn't enough, right? You want to make sure that you're consistently in front of leads and prospective patients at least 7 to 10 times over the first 30 days, right? Because think about your own inbox. How many messages do you have that you don't read, right? So you want to make sure that you're giving them a gentle nudge over and over and over. And you'd be astounded by how this impacts your conversion rates. And the best part about this is, again, when you have automations in place, this can be going on behind the scenes so that your office staff isn't getting bogged down with these repetitive tasks. And the bottom line is that, combined, when you put all of these things in place, it just gives you a leg up and it gives you that much more of a chance at making sure you convert any individual lead into an actual patient that's in your chair. And this makes every lead that you're able to generate more valuable because a higher percentage of them convert. Right. And finally, the final step in this system is all about optimizing results so that we maximize your return. We talked about having analytics in place. And so putting these strategies in place isn't a set it and forget it proposition. It's all about measuring, monitoring, and then fine tuning your strategies to ensure that you're able to generate the highest return possible. So you want to have a world-class reporting mechanism in place that can help you monitor your total spend. I mean, you want to know how much that you're spending each month. You want to break it down to know your average cost per lead. How much does it take for you to generate a lead? Then how much do you need to invest to actually generate a patient, right? Because this allows you to look at your overall ROI, right? And compare yourself month to month, year over year. This helps you tell the effectiveness of each marketing channel. And you can look at things and you can say, well, strategy A is more effective than strategy B. So maybe I should double down on strategy A and spend less on strategy B. So, for example, if I had to ask you, how much does it take for you to generate a new patient? Could you tell me? Do you know how much you're investing to generate a patient? Because when you do that, right, if you know it, and let's make a hypothetical. If it cost you $100 to generate a patient, right, and you knew generating a patient delivered a specific amount of return, why wouldn't you continue doing that over and over and over? It's like going to an ATM machine, right? If you could stick this card in and get out a certain money amount, a certain dollar amount out of the ATM each time, that's how you scale your practice. You can, and once you have this data and the tracking in place, you can truly have your finger on the pulse of what it takes to be successful over time. And we find oftentimes some people have the data, some people may not be able to make sense of the data, but you need to make sure you have these analytics in place so that you can really figure out how to drive more profits for your practice. So that was a lot of information. Again, we tried to keep it at a high level so you can kind of understand that conceptual framework. But what's the end result when you get this right? One thing we find is that, you'll have a new patient pipeline in place. You won't have to fumble around investing in things that don't work, right? Because you'll know that you've got a eager list of patients who are ready to see you, people who are filling your funnel and ready to move forward. We find that this gives, physician entrepreneurs, this gives practice managers peace of mind. So let me ask you this. What if you had a constant flow of dream patients waiting to see you, ready to agree to the procedure that makes the most sense, right? Would it feel good if you were able to just put your marketing on autopilot, not worrying about, experimenting with things that may or may not work? We find that, this gives people comfort and they feel good about investing in the things to grow their practice. So, well, here's the bottom line. This can be your practice when you install that practice growth flywheel concept that we discussed earlier. So here's the bottom line. Over my career, right, the one thing that's always held true is that the quickest way to success is to model someone or something that's already having success, right? And so here's a quote from, personal development great Tony Robbins, and he says, people who succeed at the highest level are doing something differently than what everyone else does. So go figure out what someone else who is successful did and model it. Well, we just gave you the model, right? We just gave you the formula of what you need to do in order to quickly grow your practice quick this year. And it's just to follow a proven model, right? And the practice growth flywheel is a proven model. I've given you the 3 must-haves, the things that you need to focus on this year in order to quickly grow your practice, and how to think about the things that you need to do in order to quickly grow your practice, right? So at the end of the day, there's a simple choice you need to make. There's an easy way and a hard way to do this. The hard way is to continue fumbling around, investing in things that may or may not work, or even worse, we find people are trapped by analysis paralysis, right? And they're doing nothing, right? You could spend hours and hours trying to figure out all this stuff on your own. You go to YouTube, Google digital marketing strategies, and again, waste day after day, hour after hour, or even worse, waste hard-earned dollars investing in things that don't work. Or choose the easy way, implement a proven model that works to get more high-value patients walking through the door. This is what we call cracking the code. Again, simplifying what you need to do and the sequence of the things that should be done that leaves no stone unturned and covers everything that you need to win online and grow your practice. We feel that practice growth flywheel model is the fastest way to grow your practice predictably and consistently. So that's it for now, right? We've given you the model. It's up to you to take action, right? But if you need some help thinking about this, if you need some help, or you just want to kind of talk through this, you want some help implementing this, please reach out to us. We know this formula works. We can help you implement this. But that's it for now. Thanks again. I'm Eric Barbour. I look forward to talking to you soon. If you need any help, stay tuned. We're going to have another workshop later this month that covers how to put together your 2024 digital marketing plan. Again, please reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns. Look forward to speaking with you soon.